The world of Lumerus was dying. Its sky, once bright with colors that shifted like flowing water, was now dark with smoke. Cities that had been filled with music and laughter were burning, and people ran through streets full of rubble. The creatures that attacked them were strong, fast, and cruel. They were the Karzul, a warlike species that had conquered many peaceful planets across the galaxy. Lumerians had never fought in real war. They had no armies, and only small protective squads. Most of their defenses had been destroyed in the first days of the attack. In the Lumerian capital, a council of elders gathered in the ruins of their palace. The eldest, Elira, looked around the room at the remaining council members. Her skin glowed faintly under the dim lights. Her eyes, normally soft and kind, were full of fear. She spoke with a voice that shook only slightly. "We cannot survive much longer. Our cities fall. Our people die. We have no ships capable of escaping. If help does not come, Lumerus will end today." Another council member, Darius, a young guard officer, shook his head. "We have sent messages before. The galaxy hears our cries, but no one responds. Perhaps they think our world is not worth saving." Elira's lips pressed into a line. She placed a hand on the console in front of her. "We have no choice. We will send one final signal. We will call for heroes. Whoever hears us, whoever can come, we pray they answer." The council worked quickly. They activated a long-range transmitter, one of the few still functional. The device sent a powerful signal out into the depths of space. It was simple and clear. It spoke of cities under attack, of families trapped, of a world on the edge of extinction. And it asked for help. As the signal left the planet, it traveled through the quiet emptiness between stars. It passed through abandoned relay stations and ancient satellite arrays. Other species received it, but most ignored it. They debated quietly in their halls, worried about politics and cost. Many decided to wait. Some whispered that the call might be a trap. Far away, on the edge of the galaxy, humans were watching. They were not many ships, only a small listening post near the outer planets of the Sol system. But the post had powerful sensors capable of catching signals other species missed. A red alert flashed on the control panel. Commander Ethan Cole leaned forward, reading the translated message. His brow furrowed as he listened to the simple words from the distant world. "We call for heroes," the message said. "Please help us. We have no defenders. We will die soon if no one comes." Ethan stood slowly and turned to the others in the room. Captain Laura Price was beside him, arms crossed, her eyes serious. Dr. Olivia Green and Engineer Jason Hill were at their stations, both staring at the holographic projection of the Lumerian signal. Tactical Officer Megan Ross was already running preliminary scans of possible enemy forces. "Lumerus," Ethan said quietly. "A peaceful world, under attack. No armies to defend it, and they're asking for help." Laura shook her head. "Other species have heard this signal before. Many will ignore it, like usual. They think it's too risky, or that it's someone else's problem. Why would humans get involved?" "Crops, why would humans get involved?" Ethan did not answer immediately. He thought of the history of his own people. Earth had sent distress signals in the past, asking for help, and most had gone unanswered. Many species had feared humans, labeling Earth a death world. Humans were tough, violent when necessary, and willing to survive in environments that would kill others. Many in the galaxy called them dangerous. "We cannot ignore it," Ethan said finally. His voice was firm. "We know what it feels like to be ignored, to call for heroes and hear only silence. Lumerus may be far from us, but we can reach them. We can make a difference." Laura looked at him, her eyes softening. "You really want to get involved, knowing the risks?" We could face the Karzul directly. They are dangerous and unpredictable. Ethan nodded. I know. But doing nothing is not an option. We have the strength to protect them. That is what we must do. We know nothing too. We have the strength to protect them. The crew prepared quickly. Orders went out to the United Terran Defense Fleet. Ships were readied for long-distance travel. Weapons systems were checked. Medical teams were prepared for the worst injuries. Engineers worked on experimental drives that could move faster than most enemy ships could react. Even as the humans prepared, the galaxy continued to watch. Some species were afraid. They whispered among themselves. The Deathworlders heard the call. They will fight where others feared to step. They are dangerous. Back on Lumeris, Illyra watched the sky through broken windows. She could not see ships arriving, but she hoped, prayed, that someone had heard. The signal was still looping through space, repeating its desperate plea. Meanwhile, humans discussed their plan. Ethan, Laura, Olivia, Jason, and Megan met in the command center of the largest ship in the fleet, the Terran defense carrier Horizon. We need to move fast, Laura said. If we wait too long, entire cities will fall. Civilians will die. Agreed, Megan said, tapping a holographic map. Enemy forces are already widespread. We may have to fight through patrols just to reach their cities. Olivia spoke, her voice calm but serious. We also need to think about the Lumerians. They are fragile compared to us. Many may not survive our environment if we are not careful. We must protect them as much as we fight for them. Jason nodded. I've been working on weapons tuning and shielding. We can make precision strikes that minimize collateral damage. We can focus on enemy forces while keeping civilians safe. Ethan leaned back, looking at the holographic map of Lumeris. Fires burned across the cities in red and orange lights projected on the display. This is not just a mission, he said. It is a promise. A promise that when someone calls for heroes, someone will answer. That is what we do. That is what humans do. Preparations continued into the night. The fleet moved into position, fueled and armed, ready to jump to faster-than-light travel. Other species continued to watch from a distance, unsure if humans would succeed or fail. Some feared them. Some admired them. None moved faster than the humans. The day of departure finally came. Humans left Earth orbit quietly, but with purpose. Engines flared as ships jumped into the black emptiness of space. On the horizon, Ethan stood on the bridge, watching as stars streaked past. Laura stood beside him, silent but determined. This is it, Laura said. The moment where we show what we are capable of. Ethan nodded. Not just what we are capable of, what it means to be human. We may be called Deathworlders, but we fight for the helpless. That is our strength. As the fleet sped toward Lumeris, a quiet signal from the planet continued to pulse across space. It repeated over and over. We call for heroes. Please, save us. The humans were coming. The galaxy would soon see why Deathworlders were feared, and why they were the only ones who could answer a call like this. Above the horizon, the stars seemed endless. But at the edge of sight, the fires of Lumeris burned bright. The humans did not know all the dangers ahead. They did not know the full power of the Karzul. But they knew one thing. They could not let an innocent world fall. And so, the fleet pressed forward, engines blazing, shields ready, weapons armed. Their journey had begun. They would be heroes for a world that had almost lost hope. And the universe would watch as Deathworlders heard the call. The human fleet traveled through the blackness of space for days. Stars streaked past their windows, and the silence of the galaxy pressed against the hull of their ships. Inside the horizon, the command center was alive with activity. Ethan Cole watched the displays, scanning for signs of the Karzul and the faint signals from Lumerus. Laura Price stood beside him, leaning slightly over the console. We should see their system soon. Sensors are picking up fragments of debris and fires from the planet's surface. Jason Hill, hunched over a console of his own, shook his head. The destruction is worse than the signals suggested. Entire cities have been leveled. The enemy moves fast and leaves nothing behind. Civilians won't have many safe places left. One. Olivia Green spoke quietly. Then our priority must be protecting them. We cannot just hit the enemy. We have to find the survivors, shield them, and keep them alive while we fight. Megan Ross, studying tactical readouts, nodded. I have scanned for enemy patrols in orbit and on the surface. They are spread out, but aggressive. We will have to move carefully if we want to land troops without losing them. Ethan rubbed his face. We cannot hesitate. Every moment counts. The Lumerians called for heroes, and they are counting on us. Let's make sure we answer. The fleet jumped out of faster-than-light travel near Lumeris. The first sight of the planet made every human pause. The world was scarred. Smoke rose from broken cities, rivers ran red with debris, and fires burned across plains and forests alike. Small transports, damaged and drifting, moved slowly toward safer areas, carrying refugees. Karzul warships patrolled above, scanning for easy targets. Sensors are lighting up, Megan said. Enemy ships are reacting to our presence. They think we are just another weak species. They do not know what they face. Laura leaned forward. Then let's show them. The human fleet moved with precision. Smaller escort ships spread out, shielding the main carrier. Jason activated experimental targeting systems, giving their weapons greater accuracy without causing unnecessary destruction. From orbit, Ethan contacted the Lumerians through wideband communication. This is Commander Ethan Cole, of the United Terran Defense Fleet. We have heard your call. We are here to protect you. The message repeated in the Lumerian language, translated by drones. But many civilians on the surface could not believe their eyes. Ships that looked dangerous and sharp-angled were descending from the sky, but they were not attacking them. Illyra, the council elder, watched from a bunker with Darius at her side. Are they going to help us? She whispered. Darius shook his head. I cannot tell. They look like weapons, like killers, but they do not fire. Perhaps they are here to save us. The first Karzul ship fired without warning. Its weapons glowed red, cutting through the air toward a group of fleeing Lumerian transports. Megan's tactical readout beeped rapidly. Incoming fire! Shields up! Laura gave the order. Human ships reacted instantly. The carrier Horizon and its escorts moved into formation, shielding the transports. Weapons fired in calculated bursts, striking the attacking Karzul with precision. The enemy's overconfidence worked against them. They had expected fear, hesitation, or surrender. Instead, humans fought with skill, daring, and the willingness to risk themselves for others. On the planet, Illyra and Darius saw ships take dangerous positions, flying through smoke and debris to block enemy fire. Humans moved with an unusual kind of courage. One ship drew fire directly, while another disabled enemy weapons from close range. Civilians who watched could not understand what they saw, but hope began to grow. Ethan and Laura coordinated attacks from the horizon. Focus on their firing ships first, Ethan said. We can disable them quickly without harming the surface. Target locked, Megan replied. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Explosions lit the sky. Karzul ships shuddered as human fire hit weak points no other species would dare target. A small group of transports escaped behind the human shield, their engines smoking but intact. Good, Olivia said. But we need to land teams on the surface soon. Civilians are still trapped. We cannot keep them in orbit forever. 1. Jason nodded. Dropships are ready. I've tuned engines to handle enemy fire and debris. Laura turned to Ethan. We can't delay. Every second counts. Ethan gave the order. Prepare the landing team. We go in now. A squad of Marines and medics, including Olivia and Megan, boarded the dropships. They left the fleet in orbit, moving down toward a city that had once been full of life. Fires burned in streets, and broken buildings leaned dangerously. The Karzul still patrolled the skies, unaware of the danger humans posed. The dropships shook as they entered the atmosphere. Debris tore at the hull, and heat from fires below pressed against them. Megan kept the craft steady, showing her skill as a pilot. Olivia checked the medical supplies one last time. She knew the wounded would need immediate care, and humans could handle injuries that most species could not. When they landed, the streets were chaos. Survivors ran through rubble, carrying the injured and screaming for help. Karzul raiders moved among them, searching for easy targets. Human Marines deployed quickly, forming protective lines around civilians. Weapons were ready, but aimed to suppress, not kill, unless necessary. Olivia stepped out first, hands raised slightly to show she meant no harm. Lumerians stared, some backing away in fear. They were fragile, delicate, compared to humans. Their skin glowed softly, and their eyes were wide with terror. Peace! Olivia called through a translator drone. We are here to help you. Follow us to safety. Some children ran toward her, sensing safety. Adults hesitated, unsure if these strange armored figures were friends or new enemies. Megan lowered her helmet, showing her face. She smiled gently. The humans were dangerous, yes, but they were not here to harm them. Nearby, Ryan, a Marine, moved through debris to lift a trapped Lumerian child. He ignored falling rubble, focusing only on the small body. Other Marines formed a protective circle, using their own bodies to shield civilians. Humans took hits that would have killed any Lumerian, but they kept moving, unstoppable. Elira watched through a hololink from the bunker. Who are these beings? She whispered to Darius. They are terrifying, but they fight for us. They put themselves in danger to protect the weak. They are what we called for, Darius replied. Heroes. The team moved toward the heart of the city, guiding civilians into a makeshift safe zone. Fires burned around them, but humans used their shields and armor to block falling debris. Olivia treated those who were hurt. She applied strong medicines and used techniques that would shock the Lumerians but save their lives. A group of Karzul soldiers charged the safe zone. Megan took command, forming a defensive line. Humans fought with precision, using terrain and buildings as cover. Lumerian guards tried to help, but they were weak in combat. Humans instructed them, showing them how to block, aim, and survive. Ryan shouted, "Cover the civilians! We move in pairs!" The battle was short but intense. Karzul soldiers were strong, but not prepared for humans, who risked everything. Every strike, every move, was calculated. Humans accepted injuries that would have killed others, and they pressed forward. By the time the enemy retreated, civilians were safe behind barricades. Elira and Darius could not believe their eyes. Humans had stood in open danger, shielding the fragile, and fighting like nothing they had ever seen. The term Deathworlders suddenly made sense. Humans were called dangerous for a reason. They survived what others could not. They risked what others feared. But for all their strength, they were here to protect, not destroy. Ethan and Laura watched from orbit. The city was mostly safe, and humans had proven they could hold against the enemy. The first contact was a success, but the war was far from over. More Karzul ships remained, and other cities were still in danger. Laura spoke quietly. They may fear us in the galaxy, but here, we can show them what humans truly are. Not monsters, not conquerors. Protectors. Ethan nodded. We answer the call. That is all that matters. And we will continue to do so, no matter what lies ahead. The fleet prepared to move closer, ready to strike enemy positions and secure more survivors. On the planet, humans and Lumerians began the fragile process of trust. Humans showed strength without cruelty. Lumerians began to hope that the heroes they called for were real. Above the city, fires still burned, and smoke filled the sky. But the human fleet remained, shields ready, weapons prepared, and hearts determined. The first day of rescue and battle was over, and Lumeris had survived. And in that quiet, broken city, hope returned. The call for heroes had been heard. The Deathworlders had come. The city was quiet for the first time in days. Fires still smoked in the distance, but the main streets of the safe zone were empty of enemies. Humans and Lumerians moved carefully among the ruins, tending to survivors and repairing what they could. Olivia Green led a small group of medics through a makeshift hospital in a partially destroyed building. Lumerian patients were fragile. Their bodies were not made for war. Broken bones, burns, and shock were everywhere. Olivia worked quickly, applying medicines and bandages, sometimes explaining to the Lumerians how her treatments would help. Some treatments seemed strong to them, even frightening, but Olivia knew they would save lives. A young Lumerian healer, Saren, approached her hesitantly. Her skin glowed faintly, and her large eyes were full of curiosity and fear. You humans, your bodies, Saren said softly. You can survive so much. How is this possible? Olivia smiled gently. We are used to hard things. We survive what others cannot. But we do not do it for ourselves. We do it to protect others. Saren studied Olivia's arm, noticing faint scars and strong muscles. I have never seen anyone like you. You are frightening and kind at the same time. Olivia laughed softly. That is what happens when you live on a world that is tough. We learn to endure, and we learn to help. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, Megan Ross organized a group of Marines and Lumerian guards. Darius, the young Lumerian officer, followed closely, watching their every move. We need to hold this area, Megan said. The enemy will return, and we must be ready. Humans will lead, but you can help. Stay close, listen, and follow instructions. Darius nodded. I will do my best, but your fighting, it is unlike anything we have ever seen. You do not fear them? Megan smiled slightly. We do not fear dying. We fear failing to protect those who cannot defend themselves. That is our strength. A sudden alarm rang across the safe zone. Karzul ground forces had been spotted moving toward the city. Civilians screamed as their approach became visible. Humans and Lumerians rushed to prepare defenses. Ethan Cole and Laura Price observed the situation from orbit. They are sending more troops than we expected, Laura said. We cannot let them reach the civilians. Ethan nodded. We will hold the line. Prepare support dropships. Medics and Marines go in first. Shields up for everyone. The dropships landed in the middle of the city as humans formed defensive lines. Lumerians, untrained in battle, tried to help but froze at the sight of approaching Karzul warriors. Humans moved among them, showing where to stand, how to aim, how to take cover. A squad of Marines, led by Ryan, moved toward a narrow street where enemy soldiers had broken through. He lifted a Lumerian child trapped under rubble and carried her to safety, ignoring bullets and debris. Keep moving, he shouted. We protect them. Other humans followed his example. They used their bodies and armor to shield Lumerians and civilians from danger. Some were injured, but they continued without hesitation. Illyra and Darius watched through a communication link, unable to believe what they were seeing. Humans were supposed to be feared, dangerous beings, yet they risked everything to save the weak. They are heroes, Illyra whispered. I feared them at first, but now I see. Darius nodded. They are different. They fight with strength. Yes, but for us, not for themselves. The battle was intense. Karzul's soldiers were fast, strong, and aggressive. Humans fought with calculated movements, taking risks that would kill most species. They moved through rubble, dodged fire, and counterattacked with precision. During the fight, Megan noticed a group of Karzul about to flank the safe zone. She signaled to Darius, "We need to block them. Use those ruins as cover. I will guide you." Quote. Darius and his guards hesitated but followed her instructions. Humans led the charge into dangerous territory, taking hits that would have ended any Lumerian soldier. Still, they pressed forward, driving the enemy back. Meanwhile, Olivia treated wounded civilians and soldiers alike. She moved quickly, using strong drugs carefully adjusted for Lumerian physiology. One young Lumerian boy had burns across his arms and chest. Olivia applied the treatment without hesitation. The boy cried, but survived. Saren watched in awe. Your bodies, you endure so much. And still, you help others. I have never seen such strength. Olivia nodded. Strength is not for ourselves. It is for those who cannot fight. The human-led teams managed to repel the Karzul for the first time since the attack began. Civilians were safe in the barricaded area, and injured soldiers were treated immediately. The city, though damaged, held. Later, in a temporary command center set up in a half-destroyed building, Ethan, Laura, Megan, Olivia, and Jason met with Illyra and Darius. We have held this area for now, Ethan said, but more enemy forces remain. We need your help. You know the streets, the buildings, and where civilians are hiding. We will lead the fight, but we cannot do it alone. Illyra hesitated. We are not warriors. We are gentle people. Fighting, it is not in our nature. Laura spoke firmly. You do not have to fight like us. You can provide information, guide civilians, and assist where you can. That alone can save many lives. Darius nodded. We will help. If it means keeping our people alive, we will follow your lead. Megan smiled. Good. Together, we can protect this city and others. We will teach you some basics, and we will fight where it is most dangerous. That night, humans and Lumerians worked side by side. Humans repaired barricades, prepared medical supplies, and set up observation posts. Lumerians provided local knowledge, shared where enemy patrols might pass, and guided humans through the safest routes. Olivia and Saren worked together in the field hospital. Olivia taught Saren some human techniques, adjusting them for the delicate Lumerian bodies. We can combine our knowledge, Olivia said. Your medicine is gentle, mine is strong. Together, we can save more lives. Saren nodded eagerly. I never thought humans could be so careful. You are frightening, yet you protect with all your strength. In the streets, humans and Lumerians continued joint patrols. Ryan led a group through debris-filled roads, teaching civilians how to move safely. Megan coordinated with Darius to block enemy entry points. By dawn, the city was quiet again. Survivors began to rebuild. Even in small ways, fires were still burning in some places, but for the first time in days, hope returned. Ethan and Laura observed from orbit. They are learning, Laura said. The Lumerians trust us more each day, and they are beginning to see what humans truly are. Ethan nodded. We are not here to conquer. We are here to protect. That is why they called us heroes, and that is what we will remain. As the sun rose over the broken city, humans and Lumerians shared a moment of quiet. They were different in every way, yet working together, they had held the line. They had survived the first real test, but both knew the Karzul would return. The next attacks would be larger and more dangerous. Humans had shown their strength, and the Lumerians had begun to trust them. The bond between the two peoples was fragile but growing. Illyra spoke to Darius softly. They are unlike anyone I have ever known. Strong, frightening, and yet gentle in the ways that matter most. Darius nodded. We may call them Deathworlders, but they are heroes. We called for help, and they answered. Ethan and Laura prepared their fleet for the next mission. More Karzul ships had been detected near the outskirts of the city. Jason adjusted weapons and shields, Olivia prepared medics, and Megan planned the defensive strategy. Humans and Lumerians were no longer separate. They were allies, and together, they would face whatever the Karzul sent next. The first battle had been won. The second would be harder, but the humans had proven one thing. They would fight for the helpless, no matter the cost. And the Lumerians, fragile and gentle, had begun to see the true power and heart of the Deathworlders who had answered their call.